Judicial Watch's Tom Fitton. Tom, I want to turn quickly to the release of these transcripts between Kislyak, the Russian ambassador, and General Michael Flynn. What do you make of them?
Well, no wonder they've been hiding him for so long, because they show not only that Flynn didn't commit misconduct, but that he should get another medal. They show that he was able to persuade the Russians to not escalate in a tit-for-tat fashion a battle with the Obama administration. They had kicked out some Russians, and Flynn's like, don't go do whatever you want to do in terms of just making it an equal one-for-one, but don't escalate it in a way that's going to require us to keep on escalating it back and forth. And that's exactly what the Russians did. And so Flynn didn't do anything wrong in that regard. In fact, it reads like diplomatic communications between obviously the Russians and the incoming administration. The fact they were spying on them and the fact that transcripts exist, to me, are evidence of a crime. They should have turned the tapes off as they were listening to Kislyak as soon as he started talking to Flynn. They had no business monitoring the communications of the Trump campaign. Right. And of course, they knew they had no business, because on January 4th, they concluded, the FBI did, there was no viable case against Flynn, and that CYA memo by Rice suggests they had no case against Flynn. They all knew he did nothing wrong, yet they ambushed him and they tried to put him in jail based on false pretenses. Well, it is a scandal beyond measure.
A scandal beyond measure, and every one of them ought to go to jail, period. There is no question whatsoever. These people are absolutely evil to have done this to a man who stands absolutely blameless of everything they could even conjure up, fictionally, to charge him with. Let's turn also to, speaking of conjuring, Emmett Sullivan. Continuing against this man who's been so wrong for 3 years. Emmett Sullivan, can he be removed from office? Is that just simply a faint fantasy on my part? Or is there any way in which the Justice Department and the judiciary can actually bring the hammer down on a man who would be so irresponsible and ignorant from the bench?
Well, I guess in theory he could be impeached. That's not going to happen with a Democratic-controlled House. The court should order him to dismiss the case. He is playing judge and prosecutor at the same time, which is contrary to the American system of justice. I don't understand it. I mean, we've been before Judge Sullivan more than many in this town. I've been in his courtroom often. Our lawyers have argued before him often. He brought in all these Clinton email witnesses in the middle of the campaign. Judge Sullivan's case that allowed Judicial Watch to figure out the contours of the Clinton email scandal is as much a contributing factor to Hillary Clinton's loss as anything. So to see him go after Flynn like this in this with this judicial adventurism, it's difficult to explain and disappointing to see, to put it mildly.
Tom, as we wrap up here in about 30 seconds, Lindsey Graham thinks it'd be a buffa idea for all of the Republican judges who've been appointed by Republican presidents who are nearing retirement age to resign now and be replaced by Republicans while they still control, apparently, the Senate. Have you ever seen a more defeatist, too clever by half recommendation by anyone?
Yeah, well, you know, the Senate isn't doing much else, so they might as well just confirm judges. The other problem that in the Senate is that they've been successful in confirming judges despite the obstacles from the Democrats. They've got to get the appointees in the administrative agencies. That's been unconscionably slow, and the reason it's not happening is because the Senate leadership basically works 2.5 days a week.
Tom Fitton, as always, succinct to the point. We appreciate it. Tom Fitton, great American.